So Baltimore Ravens head coach John Harbaugh talks about how Lamar Jackson is going to be an architect in this year's offense. Plus, we got Derrick Henry talking about his role in helping the Baltimore Ravens to win a Super Bowl this year, talking about big number 42, Patrick Ricard. Plus, we got some key updates on the health of some players and much more. So welcome in to another episode of Ravens Reports. It's your guy Noah here with For the Flock, as always, bringing you guys our top 5 news reports and storylines coming out of our Baltimore Ravens today, man. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Before we dive into today's content, I gotta say, my heart, my thoughts, my prayers go out to all those that were affected in the tragic bridge collapse that happened in Baltimore. I woke up this morning, and it was just one of those days where I get a notification about the Baltimore bridge collapsing, and I saw the footage and about how there was like cars on it, and it's just an awful situation. My heart and thoughts went out to them immediately. I immediately prayed for all those involved in the situation, and then I checked my phone as well and got a message that one of the Marines that I worked with for years, we were stationed together in Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. He had been in a tragic car accident and is on life support in a coma. So it's just one of those days, man, where you realize how precious life is. I thank God every single day I wake up with breath in my lungs. Grateful for my family, grateful for you guys as well. Just a terrible, tragic situation all around. Again, man, my thoughts and prayers to anyone affected by this. I know that the city of Baltimore is strong and that they'll rally, rebuild from here. Keep moving forward. But what's really cool about football and sports in general, man, is it brings people together. It brings people from all different walks of life, different parts of the world. They come and unite. So we're less than 30 days from the NFL draft, less than 48 hours from Baltimore Orioles baseball. So I'm really excited for all the Baltimore sports events we have upcoming, man. Let's go ahead and dive into today's content. At number 1, Baltimore Ravens new free agent running back Derrick Henry speaks on the possibility of winning a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens, saying that the last time the Ravens won the Super Bowl, it was in New Orleans. Hopefully it comes full circle this year, he says. Go ahead and listen to this clip right here.
How important is it for you in your career to win a championship?
I'm ready to come in and be that adding piece to it to help spring them forward if any way possible, any way I can. The last time the Ravens won the Super Bowl, it was in New Orleans. Hopefully this shit come full circle.
And here's Derrick Henry talking about having Patrick Ricard, 315 pounds of rocked up muscle, blocking and paving the way for his running lanes in just a couple of months here.
Oh, too big Pat. You know, we had them on film. We highlight him. You know, we watch the film before the play him. So I'm excited to you know, be playing with him as well. He's a beast.
I just don't know how opposing defenses will react if we come out in 11 personnel with Derrick Henry as our running back and Patrick Ricard as our inline tight end off of the left or right tackle. I just don't know how you react to that. Will a defense send out their nickel or dime package to stop the pass, and then you bring Patrick Ricard in motion, and then you have Derrick Henry and Patrick Ricard, you know, rolling downhill for some nasty, you know, run schemes? It's going to be a lot of fun to watch the offense this year. Derrick Henry, Patrick Ricard are going to be a huge part of that. And at number 2, speaking of the offense, here's what John Harbaugh said about Lamar Jackson being an architect in this offense, about him having a lot of thoughts and plans when it comes to this year's offense with the second-year Baltimore Ravens coordinator Todd Monken.
And he'll look at everything, and we'll want to know what he thinks. You know, like, do you prefer this or this? More comfortable in this direction or that direction? You know, what do you like? Any other ideas you had since we talked last? And Lamar will be part of the architect. I believe he'll be a big part of the architect on the offense.
And John Harbaugh also said that, you know, Lamar Jackson's mentioned some receivers that he likes in this year's draft. And, man, I wish I could see that list to see the type of guys that Lamar Jackson is interested in, to see the type of guys he wants to throw to, the type of guys, you know, the flavor of wide receiver he likes to get into this offense. I would love to be a fly on the wall in some of those meetings where they're talking about wide receiver prospects in the draft, the plan for the offense, and all of that good stuff. But I love how involved Lamar Jackson is in this process. I love how John Harbaugh is including his quarterback and letting him have a major voice and even shaping some of the decisions that are made by the front office when it comes to the draft and personnel. Because, I mean, that's our quarterback. That's the guy who takes the snap, the ball every single snap. And the guy that we're expecting and hoping that, he brings a Super Bowl championship to Baltimore. So I love how, much reins they're giving Lamar Jackson, how much input they're, giving him. It's absolutely absurd to think that this will be his 7th season as a Baltimore Raven in the NFL. It feels like it was just yesterday whenever, he came out in the 2018 NFL draft and was a rookie and, answering the questions about if he should play receiver. It's absolutely absurd to think about, him going into a 7th season as an NFL quarterback, now winning 2 NFL MVPs, and knocking on the door of that Super Bowl championship, which is the Ravens' ultimate goal this season. At number 3, if the Ravens want to get there, we know they were 1 game away last season. Heartbreaking loss in the AFC Championship. Offensive line, pass protection, run blocking. It all starts right up front in the trenches. Offensive line is going to be crucial. And John Harbaugh said that Daniel Falele will have a chance to win the right tackle job. Daniel Falele, he had a couple of games where he looked pretty good. You're like, man, he's showing some stuff. Is this the future at right tackle? And then there were some other games where it's like, not looking too consistent. Not getting out of his stance fast enough, getting beat even on some bull rushes whenever he's like a 380-pound, 6'8" right tackle, right? So the technique wasn't always there. Hopefully it's something that gets refined. He's still very young, and he has a great offensive line coach. But this last season, on 100 pass protection snaps, he allowed 3 sacks and 10 quarterback pressures. So about 10% of the time, he was allowing a pressure, and 3% of the time of his pass protection snaps allowing a sack. So the sack rate isn't terrible. It's definitely not good. The pressure rate, 10%, again, not good. Hopefully, if he's the starter and he's getting more consistent reps, he is able to build more consistency. And instead of coming in and out all the time, you definitely have your hot and cold moments. You can't really get into the swing of the game, feel out the edge rushers that you're going against. So I understand the aspect of him being pulled in and out for rotational purposes. But, man, we got to see more consistency. But John Harbaugh said, it's right there in front of him for him to go out there and take the job. And talking about the offensive line here, another player that the Ravens recently signed was the veteran offensive tackle, Josh Jones, who also has some experience at the guard position as well. Can play left guard or left tackle. I think he'll be squarely in the mix for one of the guard positions during training camp this year. He could absolutely go out there and win a job. But the details came out. Josh Jones is signed to a 1-year deal for $1.79 million, a $665,000 signing bonus. So it's basically a steal. I mean, that's pretty close to the veteran minimum. 26 years old. I think he'll be turning 27 this season. Has some starting experience under his belt, but is still pretty young, and has a lot of traits, a lot of tools that I think that Joe Alessandris could help develop as his offensive line coach. I love the signing from Eric DeCosta. Great deal, very minimal salary cap effects, but a possible starter and definitely quality depth there on the offensive line. At number 4, let's talk about the opposites of pass protection. Let's talk about pass rush, because we know that Jadeveon Clowney and Kyle Van Noy are both still free agents. Now, John Harbaugh has said he talked to both of them and is optimistic that they can get 1, if not 2, back here in Baltimore. Would like to see 1 at a minimum. And I'm on the same sheet of music. I want to see one of these guys back, and I believe one of them will be back. But he also said that he thinks David Ojabo is going to break out this year. He said he's finally healthy. He said him and Odafe Owe are going to be partners in crime. At number 5, The mock drafts keep rolling out, and one guy that was a new guy that I saw show up on this list, Jared Verse, the prospect, the edge rusher, who has not usually been in this range at pick number 30, but ESPN put out a recent mock draft and had Jared Verse going to the Baltimore Ravens. If he's there on the clock at pick number 30, it's not even a question for me. I think he's that good of a pass rusher, an overall edge defender that can come in and instantly start. And I would feel a whole lot better about the edge room if we got Jared Verse, Odafe Owe, Tavius Robinson, David Ojabo, and you're not just relying on Tavius Robinson or David Ojabo to be the starter opposite of Odafe Owe. So I think the Ravens should add an edge rusher in the first few rounds and still sign a veteran, because you don't want pass rush to be a weak spot on your roster. It's too important. ESPN writes that I really want to get the Ravens another edge rusher in their front seven. Van Noy, 9 sacks last year. Clowney, 9.5. Both are still on the free agent market. The depth isn't strong here. Verse had a great combine, 4.58, ran at 254 pounds, in a standout showing in drills. So he's an athlete, but he's also very productive. 18 sacks in 2 years with the Seminoles. His play style would fit with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I'm not rolling out. I'm just saying, watch out if one of these top edge rushers fall to pick number 30. Chop Robinson, Liatu Latu, Jared Verse, one of these elite guys, falls to the Ravens at pick number 30. They might be too good to pass up if some of the other top targets, maybe an offensive line or receiver, are possibly gone. Just throwing it out there that edge, pass rusher in the first round is absolutely on the table, in my opinion, for the Baltimore Ravens. All right, guys, so let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. How would you feel about Jared Verse or Chop Robinson coming to Baltimore in the first round of the NFL draft? We're getting really close, less than 30 days until the draft kicks off. I am so fired up for it. Still working on finalizing some of my rankings. I'm trying to look at, the top positions of need for Baltimore and make my top to 15 players in each one of those categories and make it available to you guys in some sort of fashion. So keep your eye out for that. Make sure you got that subscribe and notification bell on so we can keep you up to date on all of our Baltimore Ravens news and content, man. I love you guys, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
When he wasn't looking, he ran me over.